Welcome back to this week's episode of Unlocked. I have a really special guest on today. It's actually a first for me too.
Whoa.
And it's Sean Mike. I got his name right this time.
Yes, you did.
Sean Mike. So first for me, I don't think I've ever had anyone in the business world on my podcast.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's been musicians, comedians, politicians, but never someone that has built a gazillion
So you've come
companies.
down to our level.
I have.
You went all the way up here. You're like, I'm done with a lot of these really awesome people. I'm going to come down to the business people. I'm glad I made the cut.
Yeah, you made the cut.
I'm here.
So, okay, for people that don't follow you,
Yeah.
you're an interesting follow.
Okay.
Do you take that as a compliment or no?
Very much so.
Okay.
I don't want to be like everybody else. That'd be uninteresting. So like, why would I want? Yeah, but no, I take that as a compliment. Yes.
Yeah. So you are a very interesting follow. I will say at first, I was like, wow, this guy seems to be like a real just dick.
Okay. Fair enough.
know?
I've heard that before.
And then I started watching more videos and I was like, wait, like there's a reason he's so successful.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's so easy to say, like be threatened by someone's success versus being able to look at it and say, well, this is why they're successful.
Mm-hmm.
But then your story, so I watched, you had gone on Fox Business.
Yep.
And you did a video that was basically just kind of like talking about your life and how you grew up and your mom's views and how you were in basically like what? Subsidized housing?
We're poor.
Okay.
Correct.
And then what was it? So that's how you grew up.
Mm-hmm.
And what was it that caused you, like something to flip in you that you were like, I can't do this anymore. Like I need to be better than what I've come from.
Well, I mean, first of all, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate that. I mean that. It's an amazing show. You're an amazing person. Love following what you're doing. You know, at a very, very, very young age, and I don't pretend to like, people are like, man, do you remember this? I'm like, dude, how do you remember that much about your childhood? Like, I barely remember anything, but I do remember thinking I never wanted to replicate the way I was raised. I knew I never ever wanted to be in that. Like it was fine. It wasn't a thing like, I didn't think I was less than, but I was like, I'm watching how stressful this is for my mom. And I love my mom with all my heart. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I don't want my mom. So the first thing for me was like, I'm going to do well enough to take care of my mom. Mm-hmm. So I was like, you know what, my deal was like, I'm going to play professional baseball and that's what I'm going to do. And that's how I'm going to take care of my mom and they're going to pay me a bunch of money. Now growing up, I liked a lot of things. I liked cocaine. I liked alcohol. I liked to smoke crack. I'm not gonna lie to you. I like to smoke weed and I like to eat mushrooms. So
basically you did not discriminate.
I did not discriminate unless it was a needle.
Okay.
I don't put a needle in my arm, but outside of that, so I was really, really fucked up.
But what led to that?
Oh man.
Because I am a firm believer that you don't just get into drugs just to get into it.
Everybody around me that raised me had some kind of substance abuse problem. I think that I took it further than they did. I was very aggressive. It was an escape for me. So I didn't want to deal with, as much as I say I didn't feel like I was less than, I think I probably felt like I was less than, right? Mm-hmm. So growing up, we moved quite a bit. So I was trying to find my way, and I realized other people had better stuff than me. They were more refined than me. Like they had parents together, you know what I mean? They go to, because you understand, back then most people weren't divorced.
Yeah, that wasn't the thing. You just stayed in it no matter what. You stayed
in it. So, and I didn't understand that, but I was just like, why does everybody have a mom and a dad that are there, present, going to everything, right? So for me, I watched a lot of that, and I watched a lot of just crazy psychotic behavior around substances. I couldn't wait to start drinking. You know, like my father drank a lot, and he's been sober now, so good for him. And we built a relationship back. I hadn't talked to him for like a decade, like really at all. And but I remember being like 9. This I remember. I was like 9 or 10. And I'm like, I just can't wait to, like, I can't, because all boys idolize their dads in some capacity. Yeah. You know, there's this idolization, demonization, humanization.
They're the superhero.
Correct. And as much as I didn't like certain things he was doing, I'm like, I want to do what he's doing. So I remember I started drinking, and then I found other people, right? I found other dudes. I'm like, okay, that kid's fucked up. Like, he'll hang out with me, cool. And it was hard because I played ball. So back then, a lot of the guys that played ball didn't party hard.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I gotta fucking hang out with these dudes, but then practice with these dudes. Then I'm like, eventually I'll find some guys that play ball and party, which I did. And but my childhood was just like kind of like I always worked really hard. I partied really hard. And I just knew I didn't want to replicate what was happening. And then But in a
way, you were replicating.
100%. But in my mind, it was all, as long as I handled the financial stuff. Like I wasn't thinking about not drinking, not doing drugs. I'm like, I just want to live this way.
Yeah.
And at 17, I wanted to join the Marines because I thought that was my solution. And I went to the Armory, took ASVABs, the whole deal. And my father had served in the military. And my mother was like, because I wasn't 18 yet. She's like, no, I graduated high school really young. And then I'm like, I was getting recruited to play baseball. And these guys were like, why don't you come here and play baseball? I'm like, sure, I'll go there and play baseball. And I played for a year, transferred to school for a year, and realized like my life was going nowhere.
Yeah.
So I was just sitting there one day and I'm like, you know what, either I'm going to drop out of school and get a job, or I'm going to finish this degree and do something in my life. And I didn't change everything in my life, but I started like kind of going, all right, you know what, I'm going to like actually take my classes seriously. Like my GPA my freshman year was a 1.7. And they're like, you can't.
That's my biggest fear for my 17-year-old.
Well, tell you what, 1.7's hard to replicate. You know what I mean?
But also, too, what I love is you said, even when you were in college, you were looking at these professors and you were like, right. You're teaching me about business, but yet you don't have a successful business.
Yeah.
And you had a counselor or professor say, like, I don't blame you.
I went to the head of the business department. She was a super nice lady. She's now the president of a university in Connecticut. And I said, I hate this. And she said, why? I said, because with all due respect, none of you are in the field. You're just teaching me. And I said, you're an accountant, so you would teach an accounting kind of makes sense to me, but the rest of them, nobody's in the field.
Yeah.
And thankfully for me, back then, like we could have an opinion. Yeah. They had an opinion. We could debate. We didn't have to fucking agree on everything.
Exactly.
People didn't cry and scream and hide in the corner if you didn't agree with them, pee all over themselves. Like we had adult conversations. So she's like, challenge me. She said, then find a major that does. I said, okay. So I started looking around. I was like, social work. And I looked at some of the classes. I said, I started asking people. They're like, yeah, that guy, he works during the day, but comes and teaches at night. And that guy works at night. And that one, he works over in the probation department and she's a counselor. And I was like, all right, so those people are actually doing something. And then also most people that have really fucked up backgrounds make really good social workers because we're going to fix everybody else.
That's what I was about to say. Was part of the reason you did that, was that in a way doing something for your younger self because 100%. You wanted to be what you never got? 100%.
I'm going to stop things that happen to me and people around me, and I'm going to become a social worker, and somehow I'm going to fix me, even though it's impossible because I already had my stuff. And it really, I wanted to save myself, and then I became this big guardian of people I thought were being mistreated.
Yeah.
So I got out of college. It's funny because when I got out of college, my buddy was taking the police exam. So he's like, we're a police officer. I'm like, dude, I've been arrested like 8 times. Like there's no chance they're going to, which was all just because it's important. Drinking, fighting. I fight men, not women. Men that fight women are not men. They're just fucking assholes. So I fight other men.
Thank you.
And, drugs. So I was like, dude, they're never going to hire me. But I went for fun. My buddy Mike Gillette, he's like, we ran, did the push-ups, the whole thing. These guys are in terrible shape. I was like, dude, these guys are in awful shape. So I did really well on that. Then I took the exam, which is like not hard at all. And I was like, looking around like, dude, this is weird. So, I'm so simple. So I got done with that. And then I started interviewing the police departments. I interviewed at one of them, and the guy said, he's looking through the paperwork. He's like, you've been arrested before. I said, yes. He goes, no, I mean here. I go, yeah, you all arrested me probably 6 years ago. He's like, we can't hire you then. I'm like, why'd you interview me?
Exactly.
And he's like, he was really cool. He's like, I just never looked. But I ended up getting a job. One of them offered me a job. And I was like, God, these guys are psychotic. And I went to police academy for about 4 months and a week. It lasted 4.5 months. And after about last week, they're like, dude, you're like way too out of control. I was still drinking, using drugs. I was a wreck. And then I found a job as a social worker.
Apartments.com has more rental listings than anywhere else, so finding the perfect place is easier than ever, and so is finally moving in together. Just the two of you. It's a big step, I know. Lots of new responsibilities, lots of adjustments. Most likely, they'll wake you up at odd hours to go to the bathroom, and you'll most definitely find yourself in trouble coming home late for dinner. They might even unroll all your toilet paper next time. It's just what happens when you two find a new place together, but you're not doing it because you feel like it. No, you're doing it because you love them, because they're family. And that's why Apartments.com has the most pet-friendly rental listings on the internet so that you and your furry family can find the perfect new place together. Apartments.com, the place to find a pet-friendly place. Summer is just around the corner. It's time to get ready for the season ahead with quality shades that are built to last. I have sensitive eyes, so I always have to be wearing sunglasses. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglass company offering a world-class product that is rated with 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor adventures. They have hundreds of options to choose from, so you're bound to find the perfect pair to match your style. Plus, if your shades ever go missing or take an unexpected hit, don't sweat it. They have the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by lost or broken replacements. And if you don't love your shades, exchange them for a new pair or return worry-free within 30 days. No risk when you shop. Their team always has your back with personal and fast support. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code UNLOCKED for $20 off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades that are rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Go to Shady, SHADY, Rays, RAYS.com and use code UNLOCKED for $20 off your polarized sunglasses. So at this time, like, when did you become clean? Was there a point in your life that you were like, I can't keep doing this?
Yeah, I was in Florida, and we were at I was outside of Tampa, and I was playing, when you get done playing college baseball, a lot of the guys that play pro baseball, we played slow pitch softball. We cut our sleeves off on our shirts and a big ball underhand, which is embarrassing, but I did it for about, I don't know, way too many years, traveled the country, played in these national tournaments, whatever. And we were at a hotel, and my brother was in a altercation in the parking lot. And it was a little dive hotel, and I jumped off like the 3rd floor of the hotel onto a car. And I busted I don't remember that part, but I woke up in the morning and my sheets were, I couldn't peel them off. Like, I was in the bathroom. If you ever woken up, like, when you bleed, because that's no good, like your face, and you get in a fight, you're like, oh, dude, my pillow's stuck to my face, you're trying to pull it off. So at that moment in time, Savannah, to be honest with you, I've always had a deep faith. I don't think I was living the way I was supposed to. I'm sure I wasn't living the way I was supposed to be living. But I never thought, like, God gave up on me. And I'm not going to, all I can tell you is this. I had thought a lot about quitting before and never quit. I thought a lot about everything. I'm like, here are all the reasons I should quit. People around me told me I should quit. I would listen for a minute, and I never had, and I got up that morning, and I almost went to, like, laugh, right? Like, because I'm still really, fucked up from the night before.
Yeah.
And something overcame me, and I'm like, dude, it's just over. Like, it's over. Like, this part of your life is over. And I just, not to be weird, I just surrendered to it. I was like, this is over. Like, I'm done. This is done. We were playing, I obviously couldn't play. I mean, my legs were gashed up. I was pretty banged up. And we got in the flight, and I remember there was like 5 or 6 guys on my team in the flight, and they're like, hey, you want a drink? And I'm like, dude, I'm not fucking around. Like, I'm done. And they just laughed, which I understand. I would have laughed too. And that was it. Never drank again, never used a drug, nothing.
Wow.
Ever again. I mean, cold turkey, September 24th. And I said this 24th will be 24 years, which is crazy.
That's amazing.
And from there, I decided to, if you have problems with substances and you're an addictive person, the greatest gift we have is our addictive personality. And if we can take our addictive personality and find a healthy addiction, which mine was business, I decided, you know what? I have all these, I know I'm addictive. I can gamble, I can drink, I can use drugs. But what if I just find a healthy addiction? Now, people would argue maybe that, man, you work too much. Well, that's what I got addicted to. And I got addicted to putting myself in a position where, this will sound really weird, but I wanted people that had nothing to truly, not pretend, truly know they could go from nothing and do really well. So like I was like, I'm doing it for me without a doubt, but I'm doing it for a lot of other people too.
Yeah.
Because I'm so tired of hearing them say we can't do it. And I'm tired of people talking shit about us. Who cares if our dad was there? Who cares if we had ever owned a house? Who cares if they had fucking cars? It doesn't matter. We can do whatever we want. And I just started getting around really wealthy people. And I did that early in my life through athletics, but once they were done with me, they were just done with me, which I kind of learned that relationships were very transactional.
They're very transactional.
And
the moment you realize that people really don't care about you, life will be so much easier. Correct.
And I think because they were so transactional, I'd play in your team, you'd talk to me, and then the season was over and I was like, whatever. And I also realized I was at a point in my life where I believed if the other people could do it, like I'd meet people that were wealthy. And I'd literally start taking, because I was so psychotic about it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to listen to, like, how do I get around? Okay, that guy's over there and he works there. I wonder if I can go, and I'm going to intern there. And let me go over here and do this. And while I was working as a social worker, so I worked with abused and neglected children for 14 years. And while I was doing that, I was went and got my real estate license, went and got a mortgages, started owning a bunch of property, built a real estate company, which I eventually sold. That I built away. So I built companies, sold them, but I kept getting around wealthy people, and I'm like, hey man, they're not that smart. They're not. And I'm not just, they're not that smart. Like, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I'm not dumb either. Like, and I'm like, I'm smarter than most of these people. They're wealthy as shit. I don't have anything. And I was trying to figure out, what do they have that I don't have? And I realized it was nothing. And it was nothing. So I went crazy. I built and I had a guy at the state when I worked there. I loved my job at the state. Like, I really did. I loved working with it.
It's a very impactful job.
It was impactful. Most people didn't make it that long. 14 years was a long run.
Yeah.
I loved working with the families, with everything I had. I loved protecting kids. And I'll never forget my first appointment. I'm 21, and I remember knocking on this lady's door, and your training's like 5 days. Like, hey, you need to know this, and then go help the family. Like, go out and help them. And I knock on the lady's door, and she opens the door, and she looks at me. She's probably 60. And she looked at me and she said, boy, what do you want? And I said, I got this report and I'm at your house. And she said, boy, I got underwear older than you. And I said, ma'am, I don't know how to respond to that. I said, but I do need to come in. And she's like, how old are you? And I remember thinking, like, for half a second I got defensive. And I go, you know what? I'm 21. I said, I got drunk last night. I don't have any kids. I'm not married. I come from a pretty fucked up family. But I'm the only one with a social work degree here. And if you look out for your children, then I'll be your biggest, like literally your biggest fan, right? Yeah. I'm your ally. But if you're not going to keep them safe, I'm your biggest enemy. And I don't know where that came from. And at every appointment I said that moving forward. I was just like, dude, I don't pretend to be perfect. I don't pretend to know them, but I'm just telling you that I'm here and like, I'm the one you got. I did that for.
It was relatable.
It was relatable. And I've always realized that I was never, when you have a healthy fear of God, it's hard to be afraid of other things. Because we're not supposed to be afraid of anything else. It's like, dude, like, I always love when people are like, I do this and I have this school and I did, and here's when and I'm like, dude, y'all pray so much, but like, I read the book. Why y'all afraid of everything?
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like, what are you so afraid of? I'm just trying to, like, where in that book does it say to be a punk bitch and be afraid? It doesn't say in the Bible to be a punk bitch anywhere. I'm not even a pastor, but it doesn't. So I'm just kind of like.
You're definitely not a pastor.
No, I'm definitely not a pastor. You know what I mean? But for me, I just. I didn't leave my job because I wanted to get rich. And people ask me all the time, I've been very blessed to sell companies I never thought it's mind-boggling.
Well, yeah, you've sold companies for
hundreds of millions
of
dollars. It's obnoxious. But that stuff that really doesn't matter to me, and it really doesn't. Like, it really doesn't. I left the state. I had a boss. He was my boss. I had by the way, I love when people are like, jobs are awful. I'm like, dude, I always had a job. Yeah. What's wrong with a job?
Having
a
job
people are
is
online
great.
Talking shit about, if you make this amount of money. It's like, dude, stop running your mouth. I loved my job.
Yeah.
And I was in my 14th year. And I didn't want to, I got promoted once, but I still wanted to be in the field. I'm like, I don't want to get promoted more, I'll become out of the field. And I'll make a very long story short, but they would call me when something happened, right? So like, shit would hit the fan, something bad happens, they call me up on the phone, I'd answer, boom, they tell me where to go, I'd go. I go to the police department, and there's this lady in there because she assaulted the neighbor. Well, she's like spitting at the bars, punching the bars, kicking them, and I'm just kind of like standing back. So I don't like, when I used to work in a facility, the boys, the teenage boys that were there, they would spit. Mm-hmm. And whenever I would start, I'd be like, bro, I'm letting you know right now, I'm 21. Don't give a fuck about my job. If you spit at me, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you know, like, I'm not gonna spit at you. I just, that something about that freaks me out. Don't do it, you know? And they would be cool. Nobody ever bothered me and life was good. And she's spitting and I'm sitting way back. She can't. And I find out basically that her son is not her, like it's her son biologically, but she hasn't seen the kid in 4 years. He's being raised by a great family. They're awesome people. Yada, yada, yada. So we go through, I do all the investigation. The people that are raising him had some old history, substance abuse, some criminal history like 30 years ago. Make a very long story short, they made me remove the kid. And we had no bit, I mean, legally, yes, they could find a way to go look what these people did. Yeah. They were great people, clean 30 years, but a lot of the people that worked there had never been in the field and they were very judgmental. And long story short, I put that kid in the care and some really awful things happened to him and I quit. That was it. I was like, dude, I'm out. And I kind of forced myself to go full time. And I was already making money, but that wasn't my motive. Like I was going to a job making 80 grand a year, even though I was making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year selling like real estate. And you're like, dude, that's awesome. Weird. But I'm like, no, I love my job.
No, you loved your job.
I wasn't afraid to like my benefits.
What I
love my job.
It's like, I am never too good to go out and work. It doesn't matter. I will have 3 different jobs. One will provide me with, you know, couple $1,000. One will provide me with $100,000. But guess what? A dollar is a dollar, and it all adds up. And so that's why it's like when people are so hard on themselves about, well, like, I'm just not making this amount or I'm not making that amount. I'm like, you're making $1.
Correct.
Like and if you feel fulfilled in what you're doing, then guess what? You're already 10 steps ahead.
And what's your solution to it? The single biggest motivation I have and the single biggest business principle I use in all my businesses is everything we do is solution focused. We don't do anything that's problem focused. If you want to talk about something that isn't right, like if you're like, hey, I hate the wait at the airport, I go, cool, what's your solution?
Let's find the solution.
I don't have one. Then stop talking about it, please. Because now we're just bitching. Like
yes,
I don't
exactly.
You know what I mean?
If you don't have a solution,
leave it alone. And I think for me it's really allowed me to scale and empower people and
well, yeah, because now, I mean, you have a huge following. You have built all these businesses. It just came to mind, has anyone contacted you that you did social work for since you've become now this big public figure? You know, like, have you had any kid reach out and say, like, I remember you?
I've had, weirdly enough, a number of kids that I worked with in social work that have reached out. I've had some reach out from prison. Like, hey man, you know, they're like, remember me? I'm like, yeah. Like, you're not gonna believe it. I'm like, I might, you know, like tell me. But you know, I love them, right? Like, because my most gratifying job there, for about 4 years, I only worked with adolescent males. Like, they were like, hey, we're gonna put you in charge of, like, these kids are, and I hated the way everybody talked about them. And they reminded me a lot of me when I was their age. You know what I mean? I could really relate to them, and I loved working with them.
Everyone just needs someone to believe in them.
100%.
Like, you could change someone's life by just believing in them and
100%.
Looking at them and having a conversation and saying, like, hey, you're worth more than this.
Correct.
And that's what a lot of people don't realize is, like, all it takes is one conversation.
And also, if people have never had anybody believe in them, they're afraid when you believe in them. And it's okay. Like, you have to continue to reinforce it. You can't just go out and believe in you. They change overnight. They've never had anybody. If I've never had anybody believe in me and you believe in me, that freaks me out. Because now I can let you down too. Like, I'm okay letting me down. Ooh. But if you believe in me, now I'm like, God, this is stressful.
That's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure. I'm okay messing myself up. But now this nice person believes in me. And that's why I see a lot of people act out at times. It's the whole attachment thing. I'm going to get you to unattach from me before you attach to me and cause me more pressure. And that's what I understood about my job. And I'm like, guys, if you would just take a step back instead of being so damn judgmental and realize why he acts that way. I remember walking in one day and this kid, he carved in his arm, it was Department of Children and Families, DCF. Fuck DCF. With a fucking knife. Like, he's bleeding when I walk in. He's like 18-year-old big kid. He's doing very well. I mean, it's, you know, he was only 4 years younger than me, but he's done very well in life. And I walked in, I was like, and they're all running their mouths about it. Can you believe he did this? And I was like, can I ask you something, bud? He said, yeah. I said, your IQ's high, right? Because I have your report. He's like, yeah, I guess. I go, then how the fuck did you punish us by harming yourself? And you hate DCF, Yet now that's going to heal.
on your arm.
And frickin' for a year and a half, it's going to be like scarred in, fuck DCM. That's, you the dumbest smart kid I know. And then we just, like, from there, got along. But I just remember, like, dude, he's just trying to figure it out, man. And you know what I realized in life? We're all just trying to figure it out, man. And I think that's what's great about business. True. We're all trying to figure it out. And I think the reason that I've been blessed is we stay relatable. And I want to see other people win. I think you talk about not being too big to do certain things. I used to get around anybody I could. And if I could pay to get somewhere, like I used my last $25,000 one year, like early, to get around Ed Bastian, who's I think still the CEO of Delta. And he wasn't the CEO at the time. And we're walking through the place in Atlanta, and my man's like picking up a piece of bubble gum. Mm-hmm. And I was like, we get done, and they do a Q&A. And I also realized every time anybody said, do you have any questions? I'm a rabid question asker. And most of my peers are terrified of everything, so they pay their money and they fucking sit there and don't do anything. Yeah. And I was like, if you don't mind me asking, what was that all about? And he said, man, if I'm too big to do the small things, eventually I'll be too small to do the big things. He said, never forget that. And the same day, I met Arthur Blank, who launched Home Depot, Atlanta Falcons, and he said to me, when you launch your business, it will be a massive, I wouldn't even have any business at the time. I was just trying to figure shit out. He said, if you can stay unselfish, even when the money will tell you to be selfish. Like we launched HD, he said, we weren't making money right away. That's the way it works. But if you can set up a deal, it's great for your consumer, your client, great for your employee or your contractor, and doesn't kill you, eventually do a little bit of a lot will become a lot. And that's how I've like really kind of gone back to some of those things, and you go, well, that's simple. Yeah, and you have to work your ass off. Yeah. And you have to be resilient.
And you are never too good to do whatever it is.
I'll never forget what it was like to be broke. I'll never forget what it was like doing anybody's job. And also, every company I've ever run, any job I was talking to you about, I've done it. Mm-hmm. No matter what it is. I've done it.
Well, that's the only way.
I've done it. Real estate, I've done it. You know what it's like to roof houses? I roofed houses for years. I poured concrete. I used an excavator. I sold the house on the real estate. I went and kicked people out the house. I did the property management. Mm-hmm. Life insurance, I sold life insurance. When I was a social worker, I'm like, dude, I'm teaching you a job. I've been doing it for all these years. You want to go in the field? That's why it's funny, because when they promoted me, they'd be like, well, I don't know what to do with this family. I'm like, let's go. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, let's go. My boss would be like, you can't leave the office. I'm like, what rule is that? I work here. I'm like, dude, what are you gonna do? Fire me? You're not gonna fire me. I'm the best one you got. I'd go in the field, and I'd show up and show them how to talk to people.
And there's also a difference. And when you have, I believe that like the true definition of a leader is someone who's willing to get down and dirty 100%. With you. It's not someone who's up top saying, do this, do that, do.
Positional leaders. Yeah. Nobody likes them.
No one likes that. So it's like, I want someone who's going to just get down and dirty with me, because that's the only way you truly learn.
Correct.
If you've been listening to Unlocked with Savannah, then you know that I am a huge Jenni Kayne fan. So you're in for a treat, because support for today's episode comes from Jenni Kayne. I finally found a uniform that I'm completely obsessed with. Jenni Kayne is a California brand through and through, and their staples make getting dressed easier than it's ever been before. Think minimalist and effortless, but totally refined. From luxurious cashmere sweaters and iconic accessories to elevated versions of all of your everyday basics, not to mention the most incredible home essentials too. Jenni Kayne is here to help you live your best year yet. Their sweaters, y'all, are just the quintessential must-have item. And this season especially, I can't get enough of their cotton collection. The oversized cotton fisherman and cotton cocoon are the perfect everyday pieces. And as the days get warmer, you can best bet I'll be wearing them on repeat. I get compliments every time I wear Jenni Kayne. No lie. Their sweaters, everyone always asks, where'd you get that? Where'd you get that? Jenni Kayne. They're so comfortable, and I can truly live in them all year long. In case you didn't notice, they have shoes too. The leather lug mule is everything you could ever want in a classic it girl shoe. It seriously pairs well with everything. So Jenni Kayne has been my go-to brand for the past year. Everything is so comfortable, cozy, elevated, casual, you name it, they have it. Plus, their homeware is absolutely amazing. And they have an incredible rewards program to where you can earn up to 10% back with every purchase. And joining is completely easy. So find your new uniform at jennikayne.com. Our listeners get 15% off your first order when you use code UNLOCKED at checkout. That's 15% off your first order at jennikayne.com. JENNIKAYNE.com with the promo code UNLOCKED. Let getting dressed be one less thing to worry about. This episode of Unlocked is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Most of you listening right now are probably multitasking. Yep, while you're listening to me talk, you're probably also driving, cleaning, exercising, or maybe even grocery shopping. But if you're not in some kind of moving vehicle, there's something else you can be doing right now. Getting an auto quote from Progressive Insurance. It's easy, and you could save money by doing it right from your phone. Drivers who save by switching to Progressive save nearly $750 on average, and auto customers qualify for an average of 7 discounts. Discounts for having multiple vehicles on your policy, being a homeowner, and more. So just like your favorite podcast, Progressive will be with you 24/7, 365 days a year, so you're protected no matter what. Multitask right now. Quote your car insurance at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, national average 12-month savings of $744 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June of 2022 and May of 2023. Potential savings will vary. Discounts not available in all states and situations. Your story is insane.
Insane's a good way to put it, yes.
It's insane. But, like, it's awesome because I will say, like, it's so easy to look at your social media, like I said at the very beginning of this, and be like, oh, wow, he's probably a dick. You know? Like,
just because the way I talk?
Yeah, just the way, you're just very abrasive at times. And
I'm not trying to be.
No,
I'm just trying to be direct.
Exactly. But also, I feel like my interpretation of it, that's my issue. Like, that's not your issue. And it's because maybe certain things in my life have caused me, like, my dad was super direct. And I was like, oh, you're a dick at times, you know, like, whatever it may be. But now, like, getting to know you, I'm like, wow, like, he's freaking awesome.
I appreciate that.
Like,
you know, and it's funny because when I started doing this, because I wasn't going to do any of this stuff on social media, the podcast, none of that. But I had a guy reach out to me and said, you should do some mentoring and all that. And I was like, no, I'm good. And then this guy hit me up, and I'm just like running my companies. I don't have anybody follow me. I just have a social media platform like everybody else. And he said, can we talk? And I'm like, sure. Like, I'll talk to anybody. If I can, give me your cell phone number, I call him up. And he's like a wreck. He's in tears. And I'm like, he's like, I just spent $10,000 on a mentoring program. And he walked me through, like, we talked for probably an hour. And I was like, dude, all I can say is I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. And he's like, well, the guy just took my money. So I started doing some research. And I was like, dude, there's a lot of people on here that have never built any businesses. Yeah. They're professional coaches. They never fucking played. They'd never been in the business. They'd never actually made income for themselves, let alone anybody else. And there's this big void. So I'm like, dude, I'll help you for free. I don't know if I'm going to make you rich, but fuck, I'll help you. And I started doing stuff for people. And I'm like, dude, this feels pretty good. Yeah. Like, I actually like this, you know? So then I started doing some speaking, and I enjoy that. And I'm like, I just love seeing people change their lives, especially when when you find people that everybody's bet against, and you believe in them, and you give them a little bit, and when they get knocked down, you come over and grab them and go, bro, get up, it's gonna be okay. Dude, you can take over the world with people like that.
Without a doubt. I say, like, even with my story, and I don't even know if I've said this before, but obviously when, like, the whole guilty verdict came down, basically everyone wiped their hands clean. Like, everyone turned their backs. I didn't have any opportunity I had was taken. And that's why I was like, all right, I'll do the podcast. Like, that's on my terms. So, like, no one can cancel me at that point.
Correct.
But everyone had turned their backs. And there's a guy in town. He owns a bunch of bars. And he knew I had my real estate license. And he was like, hey, like, I'm building these 7 houses. I want you to list them for me. And in that moment, like,
that's great.
I wanted to cry because I'm thinking to myself, like, I have 2 kids to raise. And, like, this guy that doesn't have, like, why would he give me 7 houses when I'm just starting out? You know, like, just, here's these 7 houses for you to sell for me that are total $7 million. Like, that's a lot of money. And he believed in me and gave me an opportunity when no one else would. And that's what some people need. Like, that, giving someone else an opportunity can truly bring someone back to life. Instead of it feeling like someone's just beating them down continuously, time and time again. And that's like I tell people all the time, like, if you have the chance to change someone's life or to believe in someone or to give them an opportunity, like, do it. Like there's literally a guy in town that is very well-to-do, and he reached out to me. He was like, if Grayson wants to come and like to any of my businesses and just watch what I do and me try to teach him, he's more than welcome.
Right.
And so it's like having people like that, I'm like, it's freaking awesome. And you can always start over. That's the thing.
100%.
You can always start over. And so what would you say, all right, piece of advice for someone who's just afraid of taking that next step, who may just have a normal 9-to-5 job, making barely enough to get by, but in their mind, they're like, I want to be more, I want to do more, I want to go do this business, but I don't know how.
My first piece of advice I would give you is the freedom is in sales. You'll find something you like to sell, even if that's not the business you build, right? And there's also no magic to sales. So for years, people write these books, and like I can talk to you for hours about why people buy something or why they don't, psychology of why, but really I need you to change, right? So don't be intimidated, because if you find something, sales is the highest paid occupation in America. Sell something. You know, that's how I got in. I got into real estate and started selling it. I didn't get into real estate to build a company that I could sell for obnoxious amounts of money. I got into sold real estate. I got into waste management because I was selling jobs. Like, hey, dude, you need dumpsters. Here's how many we got. Here's how much they cost. And then I'm like, why don't I build something? I did not get into life insurance to build a massive business. I was like, oh, shit, I can call you up. It pays me this much every time I do it. It takes me an hour. I'm going to do that. So find something that you can sell, and don't think that anybody out there, you know, I had a guy recently, he's a Hall of Fame football player, and he was on my podcast, and he said, do you think you need ability to be a successful entrepreneur? And I said, no. And he was like, yeah, no. We started talking. I don't know that what his opinion on it was or not, but I'd hired a marketing company a couple years ago, and the guy, well, I didn't hire him. I interviewed him. And he said, I will work with you, but you have to stop saying everybody can do what you do, because they can't. I said, that's the myth that you all want to perpetuate, because then we need dumbasses like you to sell some kind of narrative.
Exactly.
And I don't need it. The reality is anybody watching right now can go do whatever they want to do financially and business. Now, does it mean you're smart enough to get your pilot's license? You might not be. Math and science are important when you're flying an airplane, okay? So you might not be. You might go like, can I be the world's strongest person? No, that requires talent. Can I go ahead and play cornerback in the NFL? No, that requires talent. But business doesn't. And you don't have to come from money either, because most people want the passive income. Bro, you get passive income by creating insane active income. You go sell something, and then, to your point, find people that have done it. I got around people, and
I don't want to be the smartest one in the room.
No.
I want to be the dumbest person in the room.
Amen.
Because then I can learn to become that.
Amen. And I learned a lot from people. It's weird, because there were a lot of people I was around that did everything the wrong way, but that was a great learning lesson too. And most people just make fun of him and talk shit about him. Like, no, dude, what would he do? Matter of fact, when I launched one of my companies, I watched a guy do it for 7-8 years. He was smart, energetic, hardworking, but he was just a selfish asshole. And every decision he made was for him and only him. And so when I went to make decisions at times, I didn't know what to do. And I'm like, what would he do? And I just somehow would know what he would do. And I'm like, then I'll do the opposite. Like I literally, but I was always learning. So if you'll keep your head in a swivel, listen, and you don't have to quit your job either. That's the thing when people are like, well, I'm going to launch my own company. Dude, keep your job until you make enough money. You know what that might mean, though? That might mean you work 60, 70, 80 hours a week before you get ahead.
Yeah.
If you're willing to do it, but hey, it's a grind. It's a mother freaking grind. We flew, and he made a great point. I was flying with Shannon Sharp, and I was like, man, you sleep on airplanes? He goes, never used to be able to. He said, but I start shooting a show 6 nights a week, never miss it, doing this, doing that. He's like, you learn to sleep on an airplane. I'm like, you are right. You're tired enough, you'll find a way.
Exactly.
And it's so true. And I was like, yeah, man, I gotta put in more. Like, and that's why I was like getting around people that are doing their thing and watching them grind when they don't necessarily have to. Like, you did what you did because you had to, but you're gonna keep doing what you do because you want to.
Oh, without a doubt.
That's who you are.
And two, when you know a certain life, like, you're not going to go back.
100%.
You're not going to go back.
Nope.
And that's where, like we said, you surround yourself with people who know more than you.
Correct.
You create opportunity for yourself. You put yourself at the right place at the right time. And I like nice things too much to go back.
Don't apologize for it. No.
I'm not going back.
No. No, it's hard. And all that stuff, those companies, it's hard to go back. You talk about your kids, like, it's once you're able to say, we'll do it no matter what, you're not buying them helicopters and penthouses in Dubai, but private school. The stuff they need athletically, the stuff they need for school. When you don't have to go like, oh, I wonder what that cost. Yeah. You don't ever want to go back, and you won't go back. Yeah. You know, and it's kind of funny because a lot of people say to me, man, I would kill for my kids. And I'm like, dude, you won't even work full time for your kids. Knock it up. And I'm not trying to be mean, but like, just take some inventory. And when I said that's who you are, that's who anybody can be. It's literally. That's the thing. It's not, well, that's just who you are. No, that's who anybody can be.
But it's so easy for people to become the victim of their circumstances.
You can't, though. And you can't. That's what they want you to do.
Exactly.
That's what they want you to do.
That's why I say with us, like, why would I give the government, why would I allow them, give them one more thing? Why would I allow the people who have wronged me to destroy the rest of my life? I'm not doing it.
Their motivation. Exactly. Their fuel. Exactly. They're actually one of the reasons I tell people all the time, one of the reasons I sent, he probably won't watch, but if he does, he'll know. I had a coach who sent me this.
What are you trying to say? He's not watching my podcast?
I don't know if he watches anything. Okay. If he's watching anything, he's watching your podcast. So, I'm sorry, I was thinking I was on my own, but my own podcast, he's definitely not watching. But I had sent him a message on Facebook and basically thanked him for helping me out, which he never did. Okay. And I don't know why I did it. Like, I really was like, part of me wanted to just reach out to him and be an ass. And then he was always against me and always, because where I grew up, and when I played ball, he was happy with me, but he was always, and he sent me a message back and was like, man, I'm so happy for you. I believe so much in you. And I was just kind of like, you know what? He has to know that I know he's lying. But you know what he doesn't know is all the shit he said about what I wouldn't accomplish behind my back to everybody. And all the shit he talked about me, because the area I come from is not a huge area. You know everybody. It was fuel for me. So I actually do owe him a thank you, and not a sarcastic one. No. I owe him a thank you. It's just like what my English teacher said. He's not alive now, Mr. H, I'm sure. But he said to me, I wrote a poem.
God, you're that old.
I don't know how. Oh, yeah. No, I'm 51 years old. I'm old, yes. And I wrote a poem, and I was trying to and I'm not a writer, and I put the word Rolex in there. And he was like, literally gave my paper back. And he was like, this didn't line up or whatever. And he gave me whatever grade he gave me. He said, but it was about dreams. He said, I also would, I'll never forget this. He was so smart. He said, I would temper your expectations, young man, because people that have your kind of background will never own a Rolex. They're very expensive. I'm like, motherfucker, how many? I don't even know how many I own, but I have them all. And I don't even like them. I mean, I do like them. I like wearing them, but I'm not like, I don't care. I'm just like, I just want them to Mr. H said I couldn't have them. Not because they hold their value, not because they're a good investment, not because they look nice, because somebody told me. And for everybody watching, somebody's told you can't. And you either do, oh, I can't believe they said that, or you know what? Watch me. You know, I'm kind of like a hold my beer kind of guy. I'm just sober now, but like, oh, I can't do it? Hold my beer. I'll be right back. You know, so.
That is awesome. Well, I just have to tell you, I'm now a fan.
Oh, you are? That's I was nervous. I'm like, because if I finish podcast, she still thinks I'm a dick. This is going to be a problem. So I'm really glad that I got you as a fan.
Not at all.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for coming on. And too, like, we did this from the airport.
Yes.
Because you literally, once again, fly in, fly out.
Yes.
Like, you made time for me, so thank you.
No, you made time for me, so thank you very much. No, it's an honor. I mean it, and I really loved hearing your story and who you are and what you do. And you got an amazing show and amazing viewers. So thanks for letting me be part of it.
Welcome back to this week's episode of Unlocked, and we are going to do a little short solo episode. There's some new updates in our life. If you have been following me, then you already know it. Mom and Dad are home, and I'm over the moon excited about all of it. I mean, it's so surreal. At times, it just does not feel real. I'm like, are we sure this is over? And we're done and we're getting back to normal life. But I also worked really hard for this the past 2.5 years. I put in the work, time, effort, energy. I spent money traveling that I really didn't have to spend. I was determined to do everything in my power to fight for my parents and to get them home. So May 28th is when my parents came home. The 27th, I believe it was when I got a call from President Trump stating that he was going to grant my parents clemency. And I was walking into Sam's Club and was freaking out. I got the call that President Trump was going to sign the pardon paperwork for my parents. And it was just a full circle moment. I literally worked day in and day out to fight for their freedom and for justice to be served, and it was finally happening. It has been just a roller coaster of emotions. You guys know, you have followed the past 2.5 years, and you've seen all the times I've been in DC. I've been traveling around the country. I have been screaming from the rooftops our story, and I am just eternally grateful for all of you that have listened and followed along the way and have just loved us through it. When I got to, so Tyler, obviously my best friend and hairdresser, came with me to go pick up my dad. And when we got to Florida, we were waiting on the call. So we went and did all kinds of random stuff, went to the beach, ate some crab legs, typical things. But it started getting later in the day, and I was like, what is happening? The president signed the pardon in the 2:00 hour. So when that happened, the pardon paperwork says that they are to be immediately released. So I'm like, all right, this should be happening like now. And a few hours passed. It had not happened yet. There was press lined outside of the prison, as well as individuals, fans who have loved our family, supported us. They were flying Trump flags from their trucks. They brought their kids. They had been waiting out there for hours. And finally I said, all right, well, these individuals are answering their phones. I need to make sure my dad comes home with me today. So my plan of attack was to go and stand in front of the press and give the press conference that they wanted, and also state that I hope that the Bureau of Prisons and FPC Pensacola would abide by Trump's order that he signed, which was for them to be immediately released. And people were handing me their babies. Their kids were coming up to me. I was holding hands, holding babies, and people got photos of it. When I looked back at it, I was like, this felt like such a Princess Diana moment to me, of just loving on people, loving on them well. And I love the platform that this injustice has given me. I really do. I love the fact that my parents going to prison opened my eyes to something so much greater than myself. I love the advocacy work that this situation has brought into my life. And after that press conference, about 30 minutes passed, and my dad was pretty much in the car with me, headed home. This episode of Unlocked is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game, shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping that it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can be a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help find you options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law, not available in all states. Summer is here, and you know what that means. It's time for breezy dresses, bold colors, and all the effortlessly cool looks you've been waiting to wear. Whether you're headed to rooftop brunches, my favorite, garden parties, or just soaking up the sun in your favorite sundress, let's talk about what's underneath, because the right shapewear can make all the difference. Guys, I don't know if you pay attention, but you see people walking red carpets, or your favorite bloggers and influencers, and sometimes they have on shapewear that, it just does not look great underneath clothing. And well, that's where Honeylove comes into play. Today's episode is brought to you by Honeylove, the brand redefining modern shapewear with real comfort and serious support. And their newest innovation, Mesh Sculpt, is the ultimate summer shapewear. Usually lightweight shapewear doesn't offer much hold, and strong shapewear is very heavy, but Mesh Sculpt changes all of that. It's breathable and lightweight without sacrificing its power. It keeps you cool while still delivering the sculpted silhouette that you want. Also, Honey Love's targeted compression smooths and shapes exactly where you want it and eases up where you don't. It works with your body, not against it. And the best part, for a limited time, you can save 20% off your entire order with our exclusive link, honeylove.com/unlocked. Support the show and start your year off right by checking them out at honeylove.com/unlocked. Treat yourself to the most comfortable shapewear on earth and save 20% off site-wide at honeylove.com/unlocked. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please, please, please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Experience the new standard in shapewear with Honey Love. As soon as I found out that President Trump was pardoning my parents, you obviously saw it all over the news with the White House posting Trump knows best, which I low-key loved. But in that moment, then I had someone within the administration send me a message and say this could happen in 2 hours, 5 hours, we're not sure. And I was like, all right, I've got to go. Like, I have to get to Florida. So Tyler and I jumped on a flight literally 40 minutes later and headed to Pensacola. But when I was there at the prison, it was a bittersweet moment because as I was driving through to get my dad, you had all these men waving and cheering. And when I pulled around that corner and I saw my dad walking out, all I could remember was watching him walk in and watching him walk away from me. And now he was walking out and walking towards me, which was the most emotional thing I think I've ever gone through. But I was just so blessed and honored and grateful that my dad was coming home. It was a once in a lifetime. And I am so grateful for Billy Marshall, the director of the BOP, for how he has taken over. And unfortunately, he's got a huge mess to clean up. The Bureau was left in a disaster from the last administration. So I am excited to see what he does. But watching those men cheer and wave, it just reminded me why I do what I do. I didn't just do it for my parents. I'm doing it for these men and women as well. And I'm not going to leave them behind. I refuse to leave them behind. I'm going to continue to fight day in and day out for these men and women. I do believe that a lot of these individuals deserve second chances. And just as my parents have gotten their second chance at life, I'm going to make sure that a lot of these men and women do as well. I am also going to continue on my advocacy work. Now I'm going to have more time for that, because I'm not focusing on getting my parents home. I had to be so calculated in everything that I said and did because I knew I needed to get my parents home. So I couldn't maybe say everything I wanted to say in fear of how it was going to affect the process to get my parents home. But now I don't have to walk on eggshells. And luckily, the administration wants to make a difference, wants to implement the First Step Act, wants to give men and women a chance to enter back into society. So for that, I am grateful. I am grateful for President Trump, Alice Johnson, everyone within the administration, the pardoned office. I mean, I literally cannot thank them enough for giving me my life back. All right, y'all, it's my favorite time of year. It is summer, and if you know me, summer makes me super happy, but I do have sensitive eyes. And with blue eyes, blonde hair, my eyes are so sensitive. So I'm always wearing sunglasses. And over the years, I have gotten so frustrated because I'm the girl that will use sunglasses as like a headband to hold my bangs up. And with that, hair gets stuck in your sunglasses. And it is so frustrating and at times kind of painful. So I don't know about you, but maybe you love your shades, but you find them getting caught in your hair frustrating. Well, those days are over thanks to Shady Rays. Their best-selling tangle-free collection has nose pieces specifically designed to avoid any snags in your hair. This way, perfectly styled hair remains perfect. Shady Rays offers all the iconic styles from the aviator to cat-eye design frames, so you're bound to find find the perfect pair to match every outfit. And here's the best part. They have the best protection program in all of eyewear. Life happens and Shady Rays gets that. Whether you drop them, break them, or they mysteriously disappear, their lost and broken protection has you covered from day one. Plus, if they're not the perfect fit, no worries. You can exchange or return them for free. Yes, you heard me, for free within 30 days. It's risk-free shopping with fast personal support. With over 300,000 five-star reviews, that's a lot of happy customers. So start shopping for your next pair of sunglasses today and see why Shady Rays is the go-to choice. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out an amazing deal for the season. Head to shadyrays.com with code UNLOCKED35 for 35% off their premium polarized sunglasses. Snag your shades and get ready for the summer sun. I also know that it's going to take a little while for our family to get acclimated and readjusted back into the real world. But yesterday was really fun. I cooked dinner for my entire family. I made steaks, pasta, salad, potato. Like, we had a smorgasbord of things. My parents enjoyed it and loved it, but my dad and I also went to Nordstrom because he had to have something to wear to the press conference today, as well as something to wear to an event tomorrow. So we went to Nordstrom. We thought we were in the clear, but nope. The press followed us into Nordstrom and were chasing us around in Nordstrom. It was comical. That's why I put that photo of me and Dad out there, because I was like, I'm not going to let them get the first picture. No, not happening. So we really had fun with that whole journey. Dad has not lost his sense of humor. He is still as spunky as ever. And I'm just so grateful that he is home, that Mom's home. Mom's been at home just doing laundry, organizing, spending time with Chloe, me. We actually sat the first morning she was home. We laid on my bed and just went through my Instagram and just caught her up on all the posts and videos and just everything that's gone on since she's left. And it was really cool to see her reactions and to catch her up on life. So that's really where we're at. Oh, and we are filming. So we had already wrapped filming, but we started back up now that Mom and Dad are home. So I think this new show, it's going to be absolutely amazing because it follows from beginning, middle to end. It started with us explaining the case and having lawyers on and talking about that, to the advocacy work that I'm doing, and now to Mom and Dad getting full presidential pardons. So I am so excited that they're home. They're going to be a part of it, and we get our new start at life. One thing I did want to address was the accusations that this presidential pardon only happened because I bought it or I slept with someone. Both claims are laughable. I wish you could see my bank account, number one. And number two, I'm not sleeping with someone for a pardon. Or two. I mean, just not doing it. I have more self-respect than to do those things. So the reason my parents got presidential pardons was because, number one, they had a daughter that refused to give up on them, and that was going to fight day in and day out for them to come home. And that's exactly what I did. I fought like hell. I challenged a broken system. I challenged the weaponization of the DOJ. And through all my relentless effort, they were granted pardons because I was able to get in front of the right people, and they did their research on our case, and they saw the injustices, they saw the illegal behavior from the federal government. And when the government has to break every single law in order to get a conviction, they shouldn't get a conviction. And so I'm just grateful that the administration looked into the facts of the case. That right there. Most people, the media, they don't look into the facts. They want to take a headline and run with it. And everything they've said is just, I wouldn't say everything they said, 95% of what they've said about this legal process is a lie. So I am just grateful to the president, his team, the administration, Alice Johnson, for making this happen and bringing my parents home. I am in just such awe. And I just can't wait for what's to come. I can't wait for trips and family moments and to make up for lost time. But obviously it's going to take us a little while to get back to normal life. And I'm just excited. I will tell you that if you were in my position, just know that the sun will shine. Keep fighting like hell. Don't ever give up on yourself. Don't ever give up on the people that you love, because just when you feel like you can't do it anymore, God gives you the strength to keep moving another day. And that's how I felt. I felt like I was at the end of my rope. Nothing I was doing was working. It was never going to happen. And then literally look at what God will do. Both my parents are at home right now. So I cannot wait to have them on the podcast. That is going to happen before the end of June. So they're going to come on the podcast and we're going to talk about their experiences, their life in prison, and now their life after. They also are going to be relaunching their podcast. So I am so excited for that in them and for them to have a place to share their story and be truly authentically themselves after the past 2.5 years. So I love you guys. I am so grateful for all the love and support, and please just keep following because our story is just getting started.